Wider and deeper than the Grand Canyon, the Copper Canyon of northern Mexico is a vast, rugged wilderness, a place of extraordinary natural beauty and some of the best and most challenging bikepacking I've done in all of North America. From Nuevo Casas Grandes, where my last video left off, I ride 400 kilometers south towards the mountains, through dusty towns, quiet farmland, and the vast agricultural basin of central Mexico. I roll into Creel, the gateway to the Copper Canyon and a favorite destination for Mexican tourists exploring the region. I stay a few days at a hotel that boasts one of the narrowest doors I've ever squeezed through, then pack up my gear to dive into exploring the surrounding area.
So, made it to the Copper Canyon, and it is maybe one of the best views I've ever seen. It's absolutely crazy that there is nobody else here. Maybe it's partly because it's winter, but if you put this view anywhere in the US, it would be absolutely crawling with people. You know, you have so many tourists coming, and yet here it's just some people selling bracelets that don't look too excited. Don't feel like there's too many people coming through here. There's a bunch of dogs, and that's just about it. And there's all of that going on.
The Copper Canyon, or Barrancos del Cobre, is a vast network of 6 interconnected canyons in the Sierra Tarahumara Mountains, carved out by millions of years of geothermal activity and erosion. The region covers over 65,000 square kilometers, a land of steep cliffs, plunging ravines, and remote trails. In places, it's deeper and wider than the Grand Canyon, but far less well known. It's one of the wildest and most rugged landscapes in all of North America, and it's somewhere I've been wanting to ride for years.
So I have turned off onto the dirt, and I've got a nice 500 or 600 meter descent ahead of me. It's super beautiful out here, and I guess maybe because it's winter, it feels so incredibly remote. Most of the shops seem like they're boarded up. There's no one really around. It's just super quiet. Has this wonderful out of season, end of the world kind of vibe to it, which I really appreciate. And yeah, it feels really cool coming through here because a huge inspiration for me was Johan. His videos were a huge part of what got me cycling in the first place, and Johan also came through here. And so yeah, it feels very surreal to finally be here myself, exploring this amazing place. Anyway, I guess this is proper day one of exploring the Copper Canyon, and yeah, feeling very happy right now. Very stoked to be here.
I drop down a rough descent into a deep gorge and camp in a small patch of woodland beside the river, tucked quietly away between the canyon walls. There's something timeless about camp spots like this. The cold air, a few distant bird calls, the sound of water threading through the rocks. I feel incredibly contented to be traveling through under my own power, to be camping wild and to be out here by myself. People have lived this way here for thousands of years, moving through these same landscapes long before roads or maps, cooking by the roadside and sleeping close to the earth. The next morning, I pack up early and coast deeper into the gorge, freewheeling through soft light and steep cliffs as the day slowly warms up. The road is stunning, twisting through rock and river, and even a heavy drone crash doesn't ruin my mood, especially as the poor thing somehow survives, with only a few new battle scars to help give it some character. I roll back into civilization just in time for breakfast. There's something I really love about rural villages in Mexico. The calm, unhurried rhythm, the warmth of casual chats with locals, the ever-present street dogs looking for a bit of affection, and the simple pleasure of watching daily life unfold. My ride continues along peaceful roads, past scattered homesteads and stretches of empty countryside. A few broken bits of road keep things interesting, and I'm grateful to be on a bicycle rather than a car or a motorbike. Before long, I'm easing into my first real climb in the Copper Canyon. This one is just a baby, around 650 meters of elevation gain, a fraction of what I'll have to do in the coming days. But as the switchbacks unfold, the scenery gets better with every turn, and when I top out, I'm hit with a view that has me grinning like a schoolboy. So I can't even begin to articulate how stoked I am to be up here. The view is just absolutely insane. I mean, I had high hopes and it's just blown me away. I am definitely going to find somewhere to camp up here so I can watch the sunset and then the sunrise over that view. I've definitely been feeling a bit of apathy lately. I mean, I've just been on the road quite a long time, and last year was full of so many highs, and I guess on some level maybe I didn't think that Mexico would be able to live up to that. But I mean, yeah, this is the remedy. I mean, coming to a place like this, the Copper Canyon here, it's just a bikepacking dream. You can just ride on these amazing little dirt roads up in the mountains from village to village, and then you stop in the village and everyone's super friendly and nice and the villages are beautiful, and then you come up here and there's no one out here and you have views like this. I think it's as close to idyllic as bikepacking is going to get. It's glorious. So yeah, I just can't stop smiling right now. Just feeling so incredibly happy to be out here. And yeah, what a place.
So I've arrived at this mirador, this viewpoint, overlooking the town of Urique and the Copper Canyon. And by way of this somewhat sketchy feeling bridge, I am able to access this unbelievable viewpoint that you can see here, overlooking this cliff, actually jutting out above the cliff. Hopefully it doesn't fall and kill me. But yeah, this is the viewpoint. And I mean, let's hold this thing out over the cliff. That is pretty freaking crazy. That is the town of Urique, you can see just down there. And that is my road that I'm going to be taking tomorrow morning. But seeing as there's no one here, I think I'm actually just going to camp up here at the viewpoint. It's super quiet out here, so I don't think anyone is going to disturb me. And then I'm going to get sunrise out here tomorrow as well. And that is going to be some crazy descent, nearly 2,000 meters down into the valley there. I am just giddy right now with how amazing this place is and how amazing this road has been and what a great day I've had. I think this might be one of the best days I've ever had in my life today. It's been so freaking good. Yeah, I have no words. And it's not over yet. I get to camp up here and watch the sunset over this insane place. Phew! And I get to cook dinner too. Food is going to cap off today. Dinner is not anything exciting. It's going to be my very plain, very standard, boring Englishman pasta fare, but food is food. Anyway, I better get myself set up.
I enjoy another peaceful night's sleep, then wake at dawn to watch the sun rise slowly over the cliffs below. I pack up and get back in the saddle for a descent that turns out to be one of the most spectacular I've ever ridden. The road winds down through switchbacks and sheer drops, carving its way deep into the heart of the canyon. With every kilometre, the temperature rises, a reminder of the massive elevation difference between the rim and the valley floor below. What starts as a cool morning ride soon turns blisteringly hot, and by the time I reach the bottom, I've dropped into a completely different world as I roll into the wonderful oasis town of Urique.
So as you can see, I am really suffering here. I had only originally intended to stay in Urique for a night or two, but I came here to this hotel and the hotel owner offered me a really good price on the room if I stayed for 4 nights. So clearly I had no choice, my arm was twisted, but I shall have to muddle along as best I can under these very trying circumstances. Urique is a really spectacular place right down in the bottom of the valley here. It's tropical and completely different in climate from the higher parts of the canyon. Very green here, much warmer. It's the first night I've had, I think, in several months where I haven't woken up and it's been cold. Down here it's actually beautiful and warm, which is really nice. So I first heard about Urique and the Copper Canyons when I read a book called Born to Run, which I read more than 10 years ago. And the book is all about the Raramuri people, who are the indigenous people that live in these mountains around the Copper Canyon. And they are famous for being unbelievably good long-distance runners. This whole area of the Copper Canyon and the Sierras around here is their native home, so it's their land that I've been moving through for the last few days and will be in for at least a few days more. And I love that book and I love the stories of this place, so it feels very special to be out here myself. One of the main characters in that book is a guy called Micah True, or the Caballo Blanco, the white horse, and Urique was essentially his home, or at least one of the major places where he based himself. And he died a little over 10 years ago. And there is now a race that takes place every year here. And this place is going to be exploding in about 2 weeks with runners coming from all over the world to race this race up over the canyon mountains and down to Batopilas, which is where I'm going to be headed when I actually leave here in a few days' time, when I can finally drag myself away from this place. From Urique, I have a monster 2,000 meter climb back up out of the other side of the canyon and down to the next town of Batopilas. And it's going to be an absolute grind. And as you can see, I'm pretty comfortable here. So it's going to be very difficult to finally get myself out of here. But in the meantime, I'm just enjoying living the good life, enjoying the tropical conditions and putting my feet up a little bit. So yeah, Urique, if you ever get the chance to check this place out, I highly, highly recommend it. Okay, so I've managed to eventually drag myself away from Urique and the hotel swimming pool, with some difficulty, I would add. But I'm now starting the road up out of the canyon to Batopilas. My Garmin has just told me that the average mind you, gradient for this whole 2,000 meter climb is 12% as an average, which is definitely tough, fully loaded on a loose dirt road in 30 degrees Celsius heat, but is actually slightly better than I thought. I'm actually now feeling optimistic that I might in fact be able to ride all of this, whereas before I had in mind that this would probably be a lot of hiker bike. And so far, it's steep, it's definitely not easy, but it's doable. The trick with these big climbs like this is a good audiobook and low gears. Unfortunately, I have both of those things. So even though my bike is a little bit heavy, I've got 6 liters of water because it is hot. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get any water between here and Batopilas. So reaching this sign is actually kind of a little bit special, because I have a screen grab on my phone from Johan Gergiev's video of cycling through the Copper Canyon, however many years ago that was now. And he definitely came through this way, and he actually came right past this sign, because I have a screen grab of this very sign from one of his videos. So I've been keeping an eye out for it, and here it is. So yeah, it feels a bit like a little pilgrimage following this track and seeing this sign, knowing that Johan came this way that many years ago as well, following in his footsteps. Anyway, I am nearly at the top of the first major part of this climb. I've got about 1,600 meters done so far today. I need a little bit more. It's 3:30, so I still have another 3 hours or so of sunlight. So yeah, I better get on with it.
It's crazy looking at these little terraces that are just all the way around here. All of these are, I guess, little farms, little ranches, little houses high up there in the canyon. And even here as well, we've got one just down here, another one just down here. Yes, crazy landscape, but people are living here. The Raramuri live in small, scattered dwellings carved into the canyon slopes. Many have no access to roads or electricity. They rely on traditional farming, with many walking enormous distances daily and maintaining a way of life passed down for centuries. The Raramuri are a very private people, and out of respect, I chose not to film during the few quiet encounters I had with them. It's a deeply intriguing culture, and one that I'd love to connect with more closely someday. So, the toughest day is out of the way. Yesterday was very brutal. 2,200 meters of climbing over only, what was it, like 43, 44 kilometers, which is definitely one of the toughest days I've had on the bike for quite a few years. My legs are definitely feeling it, and I slept for 10 straight hours last night. And today I am going to be dropping down 2,000 meters down the other side to the town of Batopilas, and then it's going to be straight back up the other side with another 2,000 meter climb. So yeah, legs are going to hate me today, but it is so stunningly beautiful out here, and it's so quiet. It's just absolutely magical out here on these back roads. The next few days are going to be a glimpse into the darker side to this whole area, however. The Sierras all throughout this side of Mexico are largely controlled by the cartels, and they use a lot of this area for growing drugs and for storing things, hiding out. I don't know. I'm not a mafia guy. I don't know exactly what they do. But yeah, the cartels are definitely out here. And the next town that I'm going to be dropping down into this morning is Batopilas, and I've been told to expect a pretty heavy cartel presence down there. And then the road that I'm going to be taking back out on the other side, heading towards my next major town of Urique, I will at some point be passing through a checkpoint controlled by the cartels. And from what I've been told, they shouldn't be interested in me. They're not really too bothered about people on bikes. They're not really interested in robbing me. It seems like it's probably more trouble than it's worth for these guys. But it's going to be interesting the next few days. I don't know if I'm going to be filming as much. I definitely don't think I'm going to be filming much with my drone the next few days, because drones are likely to make these guys pretty nervous. Yeah, the cartels are definitely a major issue in this part of the world, but it's especially bad what they're doing to the Raramuri, the native people here, because a lot of them are being forced, because they are such good runners, into essentially acting as drug runners to smuggle cartel drugs up into the United States. And yeah, it's really bad. And I've spoken to quite a lot of people in this part of the world that have talked about the cartels, and yeah, it's such a stunning area, and it's so sad that this place is being used by these people to smuggle drugs and yeah, do bad things. So anyway, I'm gonna have to be careful. I'm not overly worried, should be okay. I'm just gonna play it smart, not film too much. So I don't know how much video recording I'm gonna be doing over the next few days, but safety first. And yeah, in the meantime, I need to pack up, get stuck into a nice long 2,000 meter descent, and then it's Batopilas, so wish me luck. So this is Batopilas, just down here, and I think this is my road up on the other side. Yes, all the way down and then all the way back up. It's going to be a big climb. I roll down into Batopilas, which, like Urique, is another one of Mexico's Pueblos Mágicos, or magic towns. After the dry and rugged landscapes at the top of the canyon, it feels incredibly soothing to now be in the much greener and shadier conditions down at the canyon floor. Batopilas is easily one of the most beautiful towns I've come across in Mexico. A vibrant oasis of clean flowing water and colourful colonial architecture. I'm very tempted to stop and stay for a few days, but with a monster climb coming up, I decide instead to push on through and make a start on the next pass under the cooler conditions of the early evening. I ride until nightfall, camp just off the roadside, and wake before dawn for one final epic climb back up and out of the canyon. So, made it to the top of the climb after nearly 2,000 meters of steep, rocky climbing, and arrived at the little village of Buena Vista and met the cartels. There's a little cartel checkpoint at the crossroads in Buena Vista. There's 8 guys with bandanas and machine guns. One guy polishing an LMG, which is a little surreal. These guys are pretty heavily armed. And they were super friendly, no issues. And they just asked where I was going, where I was from. And they gave me some water. But yeah, no issues. They thought I was kind of hilarious. And yeah, let me go, no problems. And should be a lot easier from here. It's only another day's ride to Guachochi and civilization. So, yep, still a fair bit of climbing to get there, but the worst is done. And most importantly, the mafia, the narcos, didn't give me any trouble, which is a little bit of a relief, I will admit. There's always a little bit of nervousness and uncertainty when you're going through places where there are guys with guns, and essentially you are totally at their mercy. You know, if 8 guys with machine guns and LMGs want to do whatever they want to do to you, you aren't going to really be able to stop them. If you happen to just be a guy on a bicycle, you're not going to be able to really fight your way out of that one. So yeah, it's definitely a little nerve-wracking, knowing that if they want to do something, they can do it, and you just got to hope that A, they're not going to want to do it, and B, that you can talk your way out of things if it does get bad. I haven't been too stressed about this. It didn't seem like the risk was very high. Something I learned very early when I started traveling by bike, when I crossed Papua New Guinea. What I learned from that whole experience is that once you've committed yourself, you weigh up the pros and cons, you make the decision, you decide to go for it, there is just no point in worrying about it. Because it doesn't help, you know, being stressed, being nervous. Doesn't help you get out of the situation at all if it does arise, and it just taints the whole experience. You know, you're going to have a tough time in general because you're going to be stressed and uncomfortable, and yeah, it's going to ruin it. So it's not even worth doing it if you're going to be anxious and nervous and stressed. So once you've made the decision, you gotta go for it and hope for the best, expect the best, stay cheerful, not worry too much. So that's what I've done. I haven't been too worried about this, and it's been fine, as it usually is, and all was good. I made it through. But anyway, this is great news. Feeling very happy to be through, and hopefully no more mafia. Just a few kilometers down the road, I do come across a second, more formal cartel checkpoint. More masked men in body armor with well cared for AK-47s and another LMG. But once again, they're calm and friendly. They ask me a few straightforward questions and wave me through without issue. That night, I enjoy one final night of wild camping in the Copper Canyon before rolling into Guachochi the next morning, where I spend a restful week with Luis and his dog Kiwi at his beautiful cafe on the outskirts of town. Few places have captivated me quite like the Copper Canyon. It's easily one of the most beautiful and challenging places I've ever bikepacked. The climbs are tough, the descents are epic, and the culture of the Raramuri is quietly humbling. The Copper Canyon definitely left its mark on me. I feel incredibly fortunate to have ridden through, and it's a place I know will stay with me for a very long time to come.